Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaridhari Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Through this chapter, just do the chapter. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 1. Chapter 1, text number 19. It's a little longer than most verses. Tratrikavayavam dayayed avyuchinena chetasa mano nirvishayam yutva tataha kinchanana smaret padam tat paramam vishnor Mano yatra prasidati tatrikavayavam darayed avuchinena chetasa mano nirvishayam yutva tataha kinchana nasmaret padam tat param vishnor mano yatra prasidati.
Tatrikavayavam dayayed
Tatrikavayavam dayayed
avyuchinena chetasa
avyuchinena chetasa
mananavashyam yuktava
manonirvishayam yutva
Tata kinchanana smarat Padam tat paramam Vishnu Manam yatra prasadita
Tatrikavayavam dayayed avyuchinena chetasa mano nirvishayam yutva tata kinchana nasmaret padam tat paramam vishnur mano yatra prasidati
Tatrikavayavam dayayed
Ayuchinena chetasa
Mano nirvishayam yutva Tata kinchana nasmaret Padam tat paramam vishnor Mano yatra prasidati
Tatrikavayavam dayayed avyuchinena chetasa mano nirvishayam yuktva tata kinchana nasmaret padam tat paramam vishnur mano yatra prasidhati
Chakavaya
Anybody else? Let's just gather everybody. Please repeat. Tatra. Thereafter. Eka. One by one. Abayavam. Limbs of the body. Dayayat. Should be concentrated. Should be concentrated upon. Avyuchenena. Without being deviated from the complete form. Cetasa. By the mind. Manaha. Mind. Nirvishayam. Without being contaminated by sense objects. Yutva. Being dovetailed. Tataha. After that. Kinchana. Anything. Na. Do not. Smarit. Think of. Padam. Personality. Tat. That. Paramam. Supreme. Vishnaho. Of Vishnu. Manaha. The mind. Yatra. Whereupon. Prasidati. Becomes reconciled. Translation. Thereafter, you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is the ultimate truth, the mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only. Please repeat. Thereafter, you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is the ultimate truth. the mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only.
The mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Foolish persons, bewildered by the external energy of Vishnu, do not know that the ultimate goal of the progressive search after happiness is to get in touch directly with Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. Vishnu Tattva is an unlimited expansion of different transcendental forms of the personality of Godhead. And the supreme or original form of Vishnu Tattva is Govinda, or Lord Krishna, the supreme cause of all causes. Therefore, thinking of Vishnu or meditating upon the transcendental form of Vishnu, specifically upon Lord Krishna, is the last word on the subject of meditation. This meditation may be begun from the lotus feet of the Lord. One should not, however, forget or be misled from the complete form of the Lord. Thus one should practice thinking of the different parts of His transcendental body one after another. Here in this verse, it is definitely assured that the Supreme Lord is not impersonal. He is a person, but His body is different from those of conditioned persons like us. Otherwise, meditation, beginning from the Pranava Omkar up to the limits of the personal body of Vishnu, would not have been recommended by Shukadeva Goswami for the attainment of complete spiritual perfection. The Vishnu forms of worship in great temples of India are not, therefore, arrangements of idol worship, as they are wrongly interpreted to be by a class of men with a poor fund of knowledge. Rather, they are different spiritual centers of meditation on the transcendental limbs of the body of Vishnu. The worshipable deity in the temple of Vishnu is identical with Lord Vishnu, but by the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Therefore, a neophyte's concentration or meditation upon the limbs of Vishnu in the temple, as contemplated in the revealed scriptures, is an easy opportunity for meditation for persons who are unable to sit down tightly at one place and then concentrate upon Pranava Omkar, or the limbs of the body of Vishnu, as recommended herein by Shukadeva Goswami, the great authority. The common man can benefit more by meditating on the form of Vishnu in the temple than on the Omkar, the spiritual combination of A-U-M, Om, as explained before. There is no difference between Omkar and the forms of Vishnu, but persons unacquainted with the science of absolute truth try to create dissension by differentiating between the forms of Vishnu and that of Omkar. Here it is indicated that the Vishnu form is the ultimate goal of meditation, and as such it is better to concentrate upon the forms of Vishnu than on impersonal Omkar. The latter process is also more difficult than the former. Here it is indicated that the Vishnu form is the ultimate goal of meditation, and as such it is better to concentrate upon the forms of Vishnu than on impersonal Omkar. The latter process is also more difficult than the former. Translation. Thereafter you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu one after another, without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is the ultimate truth. The mind becomes completely reconciled in Him alone, in Him only. Can somebody look up what the word reconcile means, just so we can get on a phone? Is that how we look it up? We used to look in the dictionary, right? Things have changed. So millions of souls can't be wrong. In India, millions of souls are attracted to the temples, to the form of Krishna in the temples. And they have a relationship, to different degrees. They have, it's transcendental. It's based on transcendental science, just like Atashi Krishna Namadi Nambaved Brahmendra Seva Mukha Hijivada Swayamhira Sprayada. You know, you have a Prabhuji?
Yeah. Reconcile means restore friendly relations between.
Reconcile, restore friendly relations between. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Reconcile. Well, that's what we're doing. We're reestablishing our lost loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. Reconcile. Oh, that's beautiful. Huh? Very beautiful. But Tashi Krishna Nambadi, Indra, Seva Mukhi Juda, Swami Spayada. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be understood by these blunt material senses. But being satisfied with the pure devotional service of the pure devotee, the Lord reveals himself to the devotee when he's satisfied with his service. This process, we are very fortunate because this process is going on in all the universes. Always has been going on. And just because, quote, modern man is not aware of it, it doesn't mean it's less important, you know. They make fun of holy cow, like they say in India, they worship the cows. But if they understood the science behind it, you know, if they were willing to be reasonable and understand the science behind it, then everything that the Vedas outlines is a progressive path toward reestablishing our love for the Supreme and the service of the Supreme. Prabhupada says the Vedas, the goal of the Vedas is to know, love, and serve the Supreme Lord. That's actually the goal of the Vedas. Foolish persons, bewildered by the external energy of Vishnu, do not know that the ultimate goal of the progressive search after happiness is to get in touch directly with Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. Vishnu Tattva is an unlimited expansion of different transcendental forms of the personality of Godhead, and the supreme or original form of Vishnu Tattva is Govinda, or Lord Krishna, the supreme cause of all causes. Therefore, thinking of Vishnu or meditating upon the transcendental form of Vishnu, specifically upon Lord Krishna, is the last word on the subject of meditation. I know I mentioned this before, but, you know, I'm sure you all have a background in meditation. But to meditate on impersonal things like, you know, a crystal ball or a flame, things like that, you know, there's just no satisfaction. There's no rasa, there's no taste. But in order to meditate on I used to meditate on the qualities of God, wisdom, love, and I prayed to Him to understand Him better. And we're just little children, you know, and we want to know more from the Father. Please teach me how to do this. Please teach me how to do that. I see you doing this, and I see you doing that, and I want to learn, you know. We want to emulate the Father, you know. That's when we're in the innocent kind of stage. Then as we get older, we become contaminated with material desires, the illusion of the material energy. Therefore, thinking of Vishnu or meditating upon the transcendental form of Vishnu, specifically upon Lord Krishna, is the last word on the subject of meditation. This meditation may be begun from the lotus feet of the Lord. When I first joined, I don't know how they told you, Gokuranjana, you know, but Radha Damodar, you know, it was very sweet. I was so fortunate because I really started at the bottom, you know, and I had no illusions about, you know, because, you know, the whole hierarchy was there, you know, the brahmacharis, and they so seriously followed the sannyasis, you know. And so I was really exposed to, I'm very fortunate. Not everybody gets that, you know, fortunate. But if we actually start at the bottom, you know, and it's like, come on, please give me your mercy. Beg all the devotees, please give me your mercy. I want to be like you guys. See, that's what it amounted to. I want to be like you all. I can see your fixed in wisdom and knowledge, and that you don't have a big ego, and that you're dedicated and serving, you know. But I remember with Radha Damodar, I felt very blessed. The deities, we have the deities, and they told me to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, and then work up gradually, reverently, slowly, and that's kind of like how it was for me, working up I'm nowhere now, but I'm just saying, you know, that's tricky, isn't it? But, you know, trying, Prabhuji, I feel like a cockroach. You know, I mean, I feel fortunate to serve you all in this capacity, but I know that I'm duty bound by Guru Dev, that I have to do this sort of thing, you know. But I don't feel qualified. I mean, not really, not at all. And so I'm always begging the mercy, you know.
That's your qualification.
Begging for the mercy. But we all do, you know. You know, it starts a day or two before, and I start asking the deity, please empower me to give a class, because I don't know. Without your mercy, I can't say one word, you know, that would be of any benefit to the devotees. But was it that way for you too, Prabhuji? You know, did they tell you like that, to meditate?
Oh, well, actually, even before I moved in the temple, somewhere in the beginning of the Krishna book where I was reading it, Prabhupada said the goal of meditation is to meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna. So I was chanting Hare Krishna. I was also adding, sometimes I had my own concoction. I'd say Om Hare Krishna or something like that. But I tried to stick to what it said. So I put the Krishna book up, and that picture of Radharani and Krishna on the cover. I would just sit there and look at his lotus feet. Somehow or other, just by reading it, I immediately accepted that as a fact. That's the goal right there. Because there was all this talk about meditation, like on the flame, like you said. So no, that's, yeah, but... Well, you were a brahmachari, so I was a brahmachari when I first joined too, but by the time Radha came, I was a grahasta, so we weren't even we were the outcasts. You know, you got to serve and maybe be with the sannyasis, but they considered grahastas. I mean, they're like second class. They're just, you know, we don't want to see them, you know. They have the white flags.
Anything like that? No?
Yeah, we got white, well, there was, you know, some, you know, mood there like that.
No, it's nice to know all the different rasas and the pastimes, you know, of the devotees, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know all about your glorious history with Planet Temple, you know, and then Radhamara came through there, and how they would come, and then people would want to jump on the bus and ride with Radhamara, you know. But it's wonderful to hear about the pastimes.
I studied in the pot room.
You scrubbed in the pot room?
In Brooklyn, you know, in Brooklyn Temple. The pots were like that tall, and there was a little room with Vishnu Gada, you know, he's a famous Kirtaniya, and you know, I think the first day I was cleaning was the first sweet rice, and they had burnt it, and I had to scrub it, you know. And then I moved up to the commodes.
So when he was there, what was he doing? The famous
Vishnu Gada, he was teaching me how to scrub those pots.
Was he using the pots to like sing into the pots and get the echo?
No, we didn't have any illusions. I mean, he was had been there a few more months than me, but it was a tiny little room down in the basement of the Brooklyn Temple, and just a big, two sinks, big ones like what we have here, and just piled a lot of pots, and they were big. Yeah. But there was, like 150, 200 devotees.
Yeah, but the feasts were really, that's what attracted me.
Yeah, and they really set me one out.
Not Brooklyn, Manhattan.
In Manhattan, yeah, right. So
the feast, so there's something, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, there was.
Here at Damodar on Sunday, we would usually have like a glorious feast, but it wouldn't be real big, but it'd have all the essentials.
Yeah.
Because they really, we really look forward to Sundays, But then the Indian lady, I remember one time she was coming around Cincinnati Temple, and I asked for like seconds kind of thing. She said, brahmacharis don't take seconds, And there I am, thin as a rail, with the suntan. You're out there all day long in the parking lot, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I actually think she kind of hurt my feelings a little.
I'll remember that.
We all have our austerities we have to go through. Last night I was reading this to Fayette, and I was telling him he just doesn't have a taste for the holy name. But I was telling him, I don't recommend this, but maybe if you can chant something, maybe you chant at least, Om, You know, maybe, and then in the future, when you get more purified, maybe you'll get a taste for chanting the land. But he just doesn't ever, he doesn't chant anymore. For about a year, he was chanting just to please me. You know?
Yeah.
But he just never built the taste. So I was trying to introduce the other mantra, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, you know, to explain to him that he doesn't think he's pure enough, you know. But they have to start with offensive chanting, clearing stage, and then the pure
Well, if
chanting.
he hears your chanting, that's how.
Well, he loves hearing from the books.
Yeah, so that's good. To read, reading.
And now he's reading again. He's reading again. So. The Vishnu forms of worship in great temples of India are not, therefore, arrangements of idol worship, as they are wrongly interpreted to be by class men who report from the knowledge. Rather, they are different spiritual centers of meditation on the transcendental limbs of the body of Vishnu. The worshipable deity in the temple of Vishnu is identical with Lord Vishnu by the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Therefore, a neophyte's concentration or meditation upon the limbs of Vishnu in the temple, as contemplated in revealed scriptures, is an easy opportunity for meditation for persons who are unable to sit down tightly at one place and then concentrate upon Pranava Omkara, or the limbs of the body of Vishnu. So technically, you should be like in an isolated place, in a cave, maybe a sacred place. You know, lay down your deer skin, lay down your straw mat. So you straw mat first, then the deer skin, and then the cloth, and sit down tightly. And who can do that in this age? You know, who can do that? I mean, for an hour? Whoa, that's a long time, Kali Yuga. But yeah, so it's much, much easier for us. I mean, I'll admit I had about 7 message dreams from Srila Prabhupada. You know, I haven't had any dreams with Prabhupada in a while now, but there's that first dream I had from him, I never forgot. And I understand, and this verse confirms it, and Prabhupada confirms it. I asked him, can I get married? Because I had no experience, you know, at all. You know. So, and he told me in the dream, he just told me no. I mean, he has my best interests at heart, you know. He knew I would become too attached. I found the answers later. I said, but why should Prabhupada? And then I began to cry, you know, like torrents. And I woke up, I was crying so bad. But he told me no explanation, because you don't question spiritual master. But it took me years to really realize that he knew I'd become too attached, and he didn't want me to have to deal with residual in the mind memories of the marriage, you know what I mean, and all of that. So I understand that, you know. I understand all that. I found out eventually. So that's why we can meditate on Krishna and replace our meditations on the opposite sex, you know, and other sense gratificatory things. We can actually, and the more we serve, the more we rest, just like I was talking to the temple president of Hawaii, and he was telling me, he was emphasizing how his whole day is just taking up devotional service, you know. And he said that, Prabhupada said that if we engage ourselves, just fill up our day full of devotional service to the deities, so there's just no room for sense gratification, you know. Which we all know that, of course, yeah, we know that. But he's actually living it, and I thought, well, that's really inspiring, because, you know, he brought me into the movement, you know.
Who's that?
That devotee, and I can't think of his name. Because for years I thought it was a different name, because I hadn't been seen for years. But actually,
Sukha? Sukade?
it's embarrassing. This time I'm wearing
It's
hard for me to think. The common man can benefit more by meditating on the form of Vishnu in the temple than on the Omkar. The spiritual combination of AUM is explained. So it's impersonal, the Omkar. Just like even this body that I'm wearing is impersonal energy. It's not me, it's not the soul. I'm wearing this impersonal energy. It's not personal, though, it's not spiritual. But it is energy of Krishna, you know. Just like everything is energy of Krishna. So, we also cover in this verse about Thus the mind becomes free from all sense objects. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. And also, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So, we're pleasure seekers. We have to enjoy, sure. But the problem is whether Krishna is in the center of that enjoyment. In other words, when Krishna's enjoying, then we're happy. When he's happy, we're happy. But our only connection to Krishna is through the parampara, through the spiritual master. If the spiritual master is pleased, then we know Krishna is pleased. Prabhupada says you either serve God or you serve dog. We either serve, if we're serving Maya, we're not serving Krishna. If we're serving Krishna, then we're not serving Maya. This is one of my favorite verses. Shri Bhagavani Vacha Prajahati Yidataman Sarvanga Partamanogatam Atman Yivatmana Tuska Stita Prashashdoshte. Bhagavad Gita. The Blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So that's a beautiful verse. There's so many keys to self-realization. The Blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire, which arise from mental concoction. You think about, it's going to be so good this time, or the pizza's going to taste so good, the movie's going to be great, or wow, I got a new relationship with a new lady, or whatever, and everything's going to, that's all mental concoction, it's all mental concoction. And devotee, he thinks about so many things in a different way. Like when you're doing an offering, you realize that boga that's coming down there, you don't even consider it, what it might taste like. The only thing I consider is there a shop there? Because I want to put that in front of Lord Chaitanya, you know what I mean? And if there's a fruit salad, I want to make sure that's right in front of Radharani. I try to, personalize. That's just my concoction, of course, but I try to think, what might they like, But the devotee doesn't think, this is for my self-gratification. That's distasteful for a devotee. The devotee simply wants to, out of love, serve Krishna and try to improve our service to the Vaishnavas and to the deities. Any way we can improve and clean, If we notice some area that just doesn't get clean, clean it, That's what I try to do. Can't get to all of them, but just where I see dust collecting, I try to wash it off there or dust it. If you dust it, it's just going to put dust somewhere else. But take a wet rag, then get that dust. Because every week that dust collects, every week. Dust, you'll see on new services, So I'm sure Radharani wants us to put that extra effort, Lord Chaitanya, into cleaning nicely. Sense gratification. Krishna can satisfy our senses. He's the reservoir of pleasure. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. One who restrains his senses and fixes consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence.
Once Prabhupada, I heard on a morning walk in Mayapur, I think it was, somewhere in India, and this gentleman came forward, came up to Prabhupada. He wasn't a member of ISKCON, and Prabhupada, I think, if I remember correctly, recognized him. And he said, "You are very expert in cleaning." And he said, and the man said, yes, I want to clean your temple. The Prabhupada said, yes, you should do this, and you should teach others how to clean. This is a very important service. And they had a conversation about it. Prabhupada kept saying that this is a very important service, that you become the guru of how to clean. You show them how to clean. And sometimes we just think, oh, all I'm doing is mopping the floor, sweeping, things like that. And personally, I've noticed that when you do the noon artik, like you'll come by, sometimes you come by my place, and it'll be like 2.5 hours after you've done the service. And I know that you've been doing other things behind the scenes, cleaning, which is spontaneous. That's a really, unbeknownst to others.
Yeah. But, like I say, thank you for mentioning that, because everybody here inspires me to do better, Yeah, I mean, like those ledges up there, I know Srimad Radharani's right there in those dusty ledges. So, I mean, every time I do an artik, I try to wipe off those ledges, But then you take our little paint brushes, take the other end of it, and it's a wet rag. Then I get into the crevices along the, taking it a little bit further. Because those little corners you can't get to with your finger, with the little paintbrush, the other end of it, you can stick it up in it. It takes time, of course, But anyway, Prabhuji, we're all trying to increase our service any way we can. I mean, I'm amazed at the flower devotees,
Yeah, me too.
all the garlands, every day. And then they got to pick the flowers. Come in here, make the garlands. What a responsibility. I mean, I never really asked them, are you all in ecstasy doing that?
Not yet. She's waiting for Harry Potter to come back.
Oh, really?
She wants
The first month was okay. But then when the azaleas go, and then there's the flowers and gardenias, it gets tough. It gets rough. But I must compliment Katya. She has, and thank you for participating, because even though it gets really tough, the tough get tougher. But they were kept going, and for the pleasure of their life.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going, right?
But she go here and go all around. And it's like, it's like really.
We can go that extra mile, just like in the Matrix. I don't know how many people nowadays know about the Matrix, the movie. But anyway,
we're pure devotees. We don't.
Okay, yeah. I noticed there were no hands booked, so. But anyway, it was phenomenal because the Matrix is really material energy, and Morpheus can explain to Neo how it works. Unfortunately, he's not telling him about the spiritual world, but they're caught up in the Matrix. They're caught up in the material energy. So Morpheus is training him in martial arts in the artificial world. What is it? It's the digital world. They're in the digital world. And he's fighting, and he tells Neo, he says, come on, you're better than this. You know what I mean? He says, you're better than this. You're faster than this. Don't think you are. Know you are. And Neo says, I know what you're trying to do, and he backs off. Right? So it's like us, we don't want to surrender, But the spiritual master is pushing us, refining us, cleansing our hearts. Like taking coal and just creating pressure, and then creating diamonds, from the pressure, diamond-like hearts. So he told Neo, don't think you are. Know you are. I know what you're trying to do. Neo says, I'm trying to free your mind. But I wish he had said, I'm trying to free you from your mind. That would be heading toward the spiritual realm, But, I tell you, as a boat on the water is swept away by strong wind, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Oh, I love this verse. One who is not in transcendental consciousness can have neither a controlled mind nor steady intelligence, without which there's no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace. One who is not in transcendental consciousness can have neither a controlled mind nor steady intelligence, without which there's no possibility of peace. And how there can be any happiness without peace?
Yeah, my first wife wrote a melody to that, based on that verse, and a couple of the others that in that, and the chorus ends, and how can there be any happiness without peace? It's a really beautiful song. If you want, you Google Murari band, look for Peaceful Mind, and she just does a fantastic job of singing that.
So Murari, the album?
Yeah, it's the second one, the Dreamy album.
Yeah.
And you can just go to Peaceful Mind, and it's beautiful.
It was so wonderful just to read those albums. It didn't go on for very long, but we loved it while it lasted.
I didn't know you had them.
Yeah.
I don't know, how'd you get them?
I
didn't get, you didn't have
I was a civil brahmachari. I didn't know the inner workings of the higher echelons, This is civil brahmachari. I just did my service. I knew that I was safe as long as I was a servant of the servant of the servant. I felt safe, I felt safe. Protected under all the God brothers. Anybody have any comments or questions? Today is Abhiram Thakur's disappearance day. I don't know anything. You don't want to.
Do you have anything?
I'm trying to find out the Vaishnava calendar app. Maybe you can read from there.
When he's doing that, I just happened to hear this. They said it's the last interview, televised interview with George Harrison. And in it he says, Bhaktivedanta Swami, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, he said, I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of God. And then George Harrison said, so what does that make me? I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. I'm a bug.
A bug. You said a
He
bug?
something like that. I'm just a bug.
He said something like a bug.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And George, what was it? Boy George said, "Bow down, Mister," one of those songs.
Right. But that was his last thing that he said, on television.
Yes, Prabhu.
Well, talking about George Harrison, I was listening to a thing about his wife said that at George's passing, she said they didn't need a light to light up the room. In other words, George was like a fulgence. So I mean, it's hard to think of anybody who's helped spread. Of the followers of Prabhupada, it's hard to think of anybody who spread the Hare Krishna movement more than George. I mean, because he was a very powerful person. He had the talent, he had that ability to do that. He started that Hare Krishna record that went all #1 in a lot of countries all over the world.
We play it every day.
They wouldn't let us into, America for a time, right?
No, yeah, they didn't play it in America. They were just playing it in Europe. And everybody's on the street.
Christian influence, probably.
But every morning we're still playing that Govinda. That's
Govinda.
That seems like guitar.
It's so attractive.
But apparently Mukunda Maharaj, he came up with the came up with the arrangement.
I think I heard Paul McCartney was in the.
He was in the
panels.
In what they call this. Anyway, he was in
Sound booth.
The sound booth. Yeah, and doing this sort of like an engineer.
Yeah, that's
sound
great.
engineer.
Sri Abhiram Thakur was known as Abhiram Gopal and also as Ramdas Biram Das. Quote, who was previously known as Sridham or Gopa during Krishna Lila, is now renowned as Abhiram or Ramdas. He was the favorite of Nityananda Prabhu. One day, Krishna Balaram and their cowherd friends were playing a game of hide and seek. In the middle of their game, Krishna decided to go to Nadia to enjoy his pastimes there. So, taking with him Balaram and all their friends, he abandoned himself in Navadvip. Somehow or other, he forgot Sridham, who remained in his hiding place in a cave. After a while, Krishna noticed that Sridham had been left behind, and and sent Balaram as Nityananda, who found Sridham and told him, "Come on, we've all gone to Nadia to play there." Sridham asked, "Who are you?" "I'm your Lord Balaram. Can't you recognize me?" "You can't be Lord Balaram. You're too small." In Kali Yuga, the measurement of the body is 3.5 hands, whereas in Gorpa Yuga it is 7 hands. Quote, "If you don't believe me, then take off running. If I can't catch you within 10 paces, then you'll know I'm not Balaram." "All right, catch me if you can." Sridham took off running, but Nityananda Prabhu immediately caught him. But now Sridham told him, "Now looky here, you dudes left me behind, so I ain't going to your Nadia, or whatever the joint is called." I don't know where this came from. Nityananda Prabhu kept coaxing him, but Sridham was adamant. Finally, he manifested an expansion of himself, Ramdas, who agreed to go. But Sridham still wanted to remain behind, as his feelings were greatly hurt. Ramdas was also dissatisfied and very prone to anger. When Nityananda Prabhu's first child was born, Abhiram Thakur came to offer his obeisances to the child, who died on the spot. In this way, 7 of Nityananda's children had to depart from this world just after taking birth. Finally, a daughter, Ganga Devi, was born to Nityananda Prabhu, and Vasudeva Devi. When, after offering his obeisances to the child, Abhiram Thakur saw that the baby was unaffected, he exclaimed, "This time, we haven't been deceived." Then he immediately composed 100 verses in praise of Ganga Devi. When Vira Chandra Prabhu took his birth, Abhiram again came to offer his obeisances. When he saw that Vira Chandra was unaffected, he composed Sri Birbhadrakastakam. If Abhiram Thakur would offer his obeisances to any stone other than a Shalagrama, that stone would crack. One time, Abhiram Thakur came to Sri Kanda, wanting to meet Raghunandana Thakur. Mukunda Das was aware of his reputation and thus told the Thakur that Raghunandana wasn't there. Feeling disappointed, Abhiram departed. When Raghunandana heard that Abhiram Thakur had come to meet him, he ran to catch up with Thakur. Finally, he met him at Bor Danga, where they danced together in ecstasy. When Raghunandana was dancing, his Nupur ankle bracelet came off and fell down at Akaihat, where Kaliya Krishna Das used to do his bhajan. This Nupur is still being worshipped along with Kaliya Krishna Thakur's deity at Karbi, not far from Katwa. Gopal Guru Swami was also similarly tested by Abhiram Thakur when he was only a small boy living with Mahaprabhu in Puri. By the mercy of Mahaprabhu, who invested his potency in Gopal Guru, the boy emerged unscathed. Abhiram Thakur's Shripad is at Kanaku Krishnanagar. Kanaku Krishnanagar can be reached by bus from Tarakeshwar, which is connected by train from Bandel station. It can also be reached by bus from Antipur, the Shripad of Pata Mishvari Das Thakur. Should I keep reading?
It's time.
Okay. It's only past time.
We didn't know anything.
We didn't.
I didn't know.
So,
I knew there was a story about
oh.
that what Krishna had wanted to go. I didn't know he was involved. He was the one.
So the comments and questions, are they all over to everybody?
Yeah, well, we're looking at the senses. What senses is the best one to focus on, or is there one?
You want to answer that one?
What was the question?
Out of all the 6 senses, or possibly more, you're asking which is the one to...
Is there one?
Is there one
to
focus on?
Yeah, like is there one?
The mind is like the...
Yeah, that's but the beginning. I mean, is when we first it's hearing. We first learn how to hear. I mean, really hear. Not just, because sometimes, when you hear someone say something, your mind gets in the way, and you hear what you want to hear. But actually listen to the person, or listen to the words on the page that you're reading, or listen to the holy name. From that, then, if you're doing that with your tongue, between the vibration and the hearing, the tongue, you capture the mind. And once the mind is captured, you're pretty safe.
And the louder you chant, theoretically, the more it pulls the mind.
But also the mind, the mind is, that's faster than the wind, but the eyes have a tendency to just kind of, they're conditioned to look in the wrong place.
Yeah, I believe it's just like dominoes. If you can actually be a very good listener to the holy name, then I believe that everything else is going to follow. You push that first one. If you master the hearing the holy name, then the rest of the dominoes should fall. Successfully. Because once you get the taste of chanting holy name, use one more, right? I'm sorry.
Prabhu, do you know where those Radha Damodar deities are now?
Yeah, Gitanagari, right?
Yeah,
Still. I was there when we dropped out. Oh, it was so painful. All the buses were there, the vans were there, Radha Damodar was all there. And we had to leave the deities. We left the deities, Gitanagari, a long time ago.
So they worship
Big feast, festival, and...
Do they worship the deities?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're so beautiful. Have you seen pictures of them? Close to their faces?
Yeah, I saw the picture.
Yeah,
they were installed in the old Atlanta temple. And then when they traveled with, that was for the road show with Kirtananda and Vishnu John. And then when the road show broke up, Vishnu John took the deities from Brooklyn. At that point they were just staying in Brooklyn. And he came to Atlanta. And he and a corps of brahmacharis, he just had a school bus. That was the beginning of the Radha Damodar bus program. And he used to use Atlanta as a base. He worked out of Atlanta, and so those Radha Damodar deities stayed a long time in Atlanta and were installed there.
It's like, for instance, really I only had a few months association with the deities, and I always thought, well, this is great. We're traveling with the deities, I was just new, And I thought this is the way it's going to be. But no. It didn't last. The deities are still traveling, but we went out in vans, separated from the deities. And I was just a young devotee. I wasn't attached to the deities. They're so beautiful, So I guess I'm still serving them in separation. Because every day I pray that and I offer a huge feast to them every day, They're part of my daily prayers down there when I...
You do it mentally?
All the deities that I worshiped in the past, I also offer them personally by name. And then all the ISKCON deities I add all together,
When you talk about Radha Damodar, in the remembrance tape, it reminded me of how it was a nice, beautiful picture of Srila Prabhupada and the men, and they were all around Prabhupada, and they were having a kirtan. And it had to do with, I'm not good with names either, but this one devotee was driving the Radha Damodar van. He was saying how his wheel was getting up on the curb and he was praying, please, Krishna, not now. I don't want to kill my guru, the sannyasis and everything. It was like really having all these panic and everything like that.
I probably would have had a heart attack.
Yeah. And he said that he was an expert driver. He never had any trouble.
Yeah.
At this time, he was coming out of the Lincoln Tunnel or something like that. And he just lost control. It took the turn too hard. And he was going up on the barrier. Nobody in the back knew. And he's like sweating bullets and blood.
So I definitely lost some of my life force on that day,
Yeah.
That's what he said. Anybody else? That's it.
I could say one more little thing. When you talked about the deities, I have time or you got?
We can hear.
Just about Sri Prabhupada and how he had this very intimate relationship with the deities, with Rukmini Dwapadishi. You probably can explain it better than I can. about how he said, why are you making me leave? I'm trying to have this wonderful world headquarters here in LA. And the gist of it was that he was going to promise him a thing much better in Vrindavan, in which Prabhupada later recalls, where he says, yes, Krishna did fulfill that promise. It's, what, 100 times better? 10 times better?
Yeah, something
So many
like that,
times
yeah.
better than
what you have.
yeah, I mean, I remember when my husband goes on the computer with all these beautiful things of Radha, Shamasundar, and from Krishna Balaram Mandir, or from it was like, well, see how beautiful.
Well, you know, also, I don't remember when, but during the Panahati festival in Atlanta, there was, I can't remember the devotee's name, but for a while he was the pujari in Atlanta in LA for Gorni Tide. And, you know, all the emphasis was put on Rukmini Dwapatish. And so he was always feeling like he didn't get the best garlands and things like that. But one time, when Prabhupada came to LA and he was taking darshan, they were so crowded and he was kind of pushed up against, sort of near the back. He was sort of turned this way, and he was pushed this way, and his ear was right near Prabhupada's, face, and he could hear Prabhupada talking to the deities, but he was calling him Radha Madhava, and he was saying, so are they feeding you now?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, good. And is everything else going nicely?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. And I can't remember, but it was just that he heard Prabhupada talking to the deities.
That's so beautiful. Yes, Prabhuji?
What day of the week do you take class? Do you have a regular day?
This is it.
I attempt to, Thursdays.
Because sometimes he gets called away.
Sometimes some things happen. Yeah.
And then Nashika fills in.
Oh, that was beautiful, Prabhuji. Was that in LA?
Yeah, no, it was in, he came to the Panahati festival one year, back about, 8 or 10 years ago. I don't remember his name.
That reminds me of that picture where, Krishna, what do they call him? Krishna controller, when he's got his hands on his hips.
Oh, yeah.
Is
it good for the cake?
That picture,
What?
The boss.
the boss.
Boss.
And
what is it, the boss?
No, something like that. Kachan, I can't. Yeah, they used to have them in every temple.
I've noticed something, okay, that maybe nobody's noticed, but I try to notice things. And what I've noticed is every time I hear a little child in the background, Prabhupada, there's something he does. He either stops and listens, or next thing he says is about a little child. For example, little child, he can, and the child has just said something. Those two things I've noticed almost every single time in the recordings in his lectures. The child might make a sound, and then he might hesitate, or be quiet just a little bit, and then carry on like that, as if he was listening to what the child said, It's probably just my concoction, but it's what I've definitely noticed over the years. It's my imagination. It happens almost every time, I just think it's fascinating.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for allowing us to
Jai.
Boa Shri Swarnata, Shri Radha Kanta, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai.